Leon and the Championship, Chapter 37, entitled A Hypothesis. The campaign to save Mr. Sparks and the All Chips All the Time science curriculum began the very next day. Leon pulled aside a few classmates and told them to meet at the playground Maple during recess. There, he made his pitch simply and directly. "Okay, here's the thing," he said. "Sparks is in trouble. A bunch of parents are trying to get him fired." "That's just wrong," protested Flossie Parmigiano. "What do you expect?" said PW. "Parents tend to be a little thick." A murmur of agreement spread through the ranks. "Anyway," Leon continued, "there are barely 2 months of school left, which means from now on, every chance we get, we've got to bring up potato chips and show how they're worthwhile." "How do you expect to pull that off?" Antoinette Breed asked skeptically. "You'll see," said Leon. "I've got a few ideas." The first of those ideas was presented at the start of the next math class. Leon, PW, and Lily Matisse snuck in 5 minutes early and scribbled 3-word problems on the blackboard. Question 1. If the world consumes 1.8 billion pounds of potato chips each year, and there are, on average, 200 chips per pound, how many chips get eaten? Question 2. Extra credit. Using the answer for question 1, if potato chips have an average length of 2 inches, how many linear feet of potato chips get eaten each year worldwide? Question 3. Super duper extra credit. Using the answer for question 2, calculate if it's possible for a yellow chip road to stretch from the Earth to the Moon. Hint. Figure that the average distance between the Earth and Moon is about 250,000 miles. Principal Birdwhistle caught wind of the scheme and handed out a word problem of her own. The classical school, where nimble fingers make for nimble minds. Office of the Principal. To the 5th grade class. If 18 students disrupt a math class with word problems about potato chips, and each student receives 4 hours of detention, how many total hours of detention will the students receive? Yours, Hortensia Birdwhistle, Principal. That put a stop to potato chip math problems, but it did not put a stop to Leon. He expanded his campaign to include English class, where the 5th graders were studying haikus, a 17-syllable poem invented in Japan. Leon stood up and recited the following original haiku. A hypothesis. Potato chips can teach us all science matters. PW stood up next and performed a hip-hop haiku. Yo, don't spill that bag. Wasting potato chips is not a good idea. Lily Matisse went third, offering a more gentle recitation. Be considerate. Potato chip littering makes our world crummy. After that, everyone wanted to get into the act, even Lumpkin. Crunch, 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 crunch. Are those chips you hear? Or just me, Henry Lumpkin? Probably the most heartfelt potato chip haiku came from Flossie Parmigiano. Dad sniffs my fingers. They smell like potato chips. I am so busted. Unfortunately, Flossie Parmigiano wasn't the only one who got busted. When Principal Birdwhistle learned about the single subject verse, she used the PA system to broadcast a haiku of her own. No more chip poems. They make 5th graders forget the important stuff. Leon disagreed. He called another maple tree powwow to figure out what to do next. Birdwhistle is totally against potato chips, Thomas Warchowski complained. Birdwhistle's not the real problem, said Flossie Parmigiano. The real problem is the parents. Trust me, I know. You should hear my dad going on about dental time bombs. Then we'll have to work on the parents, said Leon. How? Said Antoinette Breed. Glad you asked, said Leon. I've been giving this a lot of thought. The science fair is 1 month away, right? Excuse me, everyone. Since tons of parents will be there, it makes sense to use the fair to prove, once and for all, that Sparks is a first-rate teacher and that potato chips rule. Leon spelled out the scheme to his classmates. All those presents, including Antoinette, agreed to join. Remember, said Leon, no one can talk about this. Yeah, said Thomas Warchowski. Anyone who rats gets sliced up and deep-fried in boiling hot peanut oil. Agreed? Agreed, everyone pledged. PW was the first to seal the oath of silence by spitting on the ground. All the others followed suit with differing degrees of enthusiasm. Editor's note. Answers to word problems on page 288. 360 billion chips. Question 2, 60 billion feet. And question 3, yes, a yellow chip road could travel from the Earth to the Moon and back nearly 23 times.